Let's talk about how I color grade my motorsports footage. Color grading is one of the most important aspects of filmmaking. While I use Davinci Resolve, the same principles will apply to Premiere Pro or Final Cut. All of the LUTs and power grades that you see in this video will also be linked below. For starters, I convert my log footage into Rec. 709 using Davinci's color space transform, and that gives us a good foundation to start from. For Premiere Pro and Final Cut, you can use the conversion LUT often supplied by the manufacturer to convert that footage into Rec. 709. Next, I'll add 3 nodes before the color space transform for white balance, mid detail, and our exposure adjustments. For white balance, I'm generally looking at the track surface here. I'm trying to get it about as neutral as possible, not too warm, not too cool. Next, I'll add a little bit of mid detail, and all this really does is gives my footage just a little bit more texture. On my exposure node, I'll add a little bit of contrast by bringing some of those darker areas down and lifting some of the brighter areas. I'm generally looking at the tires here, sometimes the front grille of a car, trying to bring that down as close to black as possible without clipping. Next, for this one, I'll put on my Motorsport daytime LUT. It adds a little pop of color, puts a little bit of that blue in the shadows, and warms up some of the highlights. Because the majority of the car brands that I work with prefer color accuracy above all else, there's not going to be any Hollywood cinema grades for me. If you've watched my camera settings video, you know I like to turn the in-camera sharpening all the way down, so in my last node, I'll add some of that back. For night shots, I have a night-specific LUT. I'll put that on. It introduces a lot of teal and blue into some of the mids and the darker regions, but it also adds a little bit of pop to some of those brighter colors. If I'm not dealing with cars and I'm dealing with faces, in Davinci I'll add a layer node and I'll isolate those skin tones so that my LUT and any of the other adjustments aren't pushing those skin tones too far. I'll adjust the tint and temperature so that I'm right on that skin tone line on the color wheel. And that's how I color grade my motorsports footage. If you enjoyed this, feel free to click buttons below to make sure that you see more of this in the future.